Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Effingham County Virtual Job Fair. Today, we will be hearing from 6 employers hiring for various positions across multiple industries. Each employer will speak for approximately 10 minutes to give you some information about their company and will highlight the job openings they currently have. If you have questions at any time, please type them into the chat and we will address them during the Q&A session that will be taking place after all employers have presented. Today's session is being recorded and will be made available in the employer booths for you to refer to later. Now, I am pleased to introduce Courtney with Effingham Regional Growth Alliance. Courtney.
Thank you, everyone, for attending the Effingham County Virtual Job Fair. This multi-employer event is made possible through the collaboration of the City of Effingham, Effingham County Chamber of Commerce, Effingham Regional Growth Alliance, Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and Local Workforce Investment Area 23, partnering with Illinois workNet. We're excited to bring this virtual opportunity to Effingham County and the surrounding areas. We believe a virtual job fair is a great way for job seekers to discover employment opportunities from local businesses. Today, you will learn about over 100 available jobs from John Boes & Co, Patterson Technology, Sherwin Williams Distribution Center, Siemer Milling Co, Stevens Industry, and Versatech. To kick off today's event, Jamie Hadauchi from Local Workforce Investment Area 23 will inform us on services and eligibilities for job seekers through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. Jamie.
Thank you very much, Courtney. As he said, I am Jamie Hadauchi, the Director of Workforce Investment at Lakeland College for LWIA 23. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about a really wonderful, valuable resource that is WIOA Services at your disposal. What WIOA Services does is provide assistance to job seekers just like you with job searches, with resume development, interview skills, career advice, on-the-job training, skills upgrades, and more. And while doing all of this, we also provide supportive services like transportation or mileage reimbursement to get you to and from your new job, childcare assistance, providing you with required uniforms and tools, and more. Our WIOA services are provided through CEFS Economic Opportunity Corporation. So to be eligible for the WIOA services at CEFS, you do have to be a resident of Effingham County or surrounding county, authorized to work in the United States, over the age of 18, and we do give priority to veterans and those who come from low-income households. I highly emphasize to any job seekers that are interested in this program. Oh, you can advance the slide, I'm sorry. I highly emphasize that if you are interested in participating, that you contact CEFS before your first day of employment. Go ahead and advance to the last slide. These services that you just saw, they're not available until if you've already started the job. So you do need to contact CEFS before your first day of employment. In fact, right after the event today, if you're interested, definitely reach out to CEFS. You can contact them via email at cefs@cefseoc.org or by phone at 217-347-2102. Again, the email address is on the screen. Phone number is there as well. Take a moment to write that down, and you can give them a call or shoot them an email right after the event. Thank you for having me today and for your attention. Now I will turn it over to our first employee presentation, which is Raina with John Boes & Company.
Hi, thank you very much. My name is Raina, and I'm here to introduce you to John Boes & Company. I appreciate the opportunity to participate in this virtual job fair. This is definitely a lot easier than dragging all the equipment and the materials to the job site on-site job fair. But I do miss the opportunity to actually meet people and speak to them one-on-one. So I hope that you will reach out to me directly after you've had a chance to review our booth on the Illinois WorkNet Center. So our corporate office and our primary manufacturing plants are located right here in Effingham at 3601 South Banker Street. That's just down South Route 45, about a mile south of the rural King. Most locals know us as the Butcher Block Factory Outlet, and that is because our very first block was basically just cut from a local sycamore tree. They sliced a piece out of it, left the bark on the side of it, put 3 wooden legs under it, put it on a tilt so that the meat juices would run off, and that was the first block that we ever made. Today, however, we manufacture much more than just butcher blocks. Next slide, please. To be more specific, we are a provider of high-quality, performance-driven equipment and workspaces that have inspired home cooks, chefs, and food service industry workers for generations. We have 5 distinct markets that we serve: industrial, supermarket, kitchen services, also known as countertops, food service, and gourmet. Our products include butcher block cutting boards, chopping blocks, kitchen furniture, countertop surfaces, stainless work tables, chef's counters, concession stands, sinks, and a lot of other highly customized stainless steel equipment. Some of our better known clients include Amazon, Wayfair, Williams-Sonoma, and our products have been commissioned for the White House and various stadiums such as the Dallas Cowboys, the Indianapolis Colts, New York Jets, Atlanta Falcons, and others. Our boards are used by celebrity chefs all over the nation. John Booz is the flagship for the JBC Holding Company, but we also have subsidiaries located in Altamont, Illinois, Reno, Nevada, as well as in Mississippi and Wisconsin. You will find some interesting information on our website, including our history, chef testimonials, certifications, and our green initiatives. Sustainability is one thing that's very important to us, especially since we're working with a natural product. We partner exclusively with National Hardwood Lumber Association foresters who follow professional best practices that mirror natural forces. So for example, individual trees are selected for harvest to encourage forests to renew and regenerate themselves naturally. We also recycle 95% of our raw materials, our scrap, and even our sawdust to use as fuel to heat our kilns. Next slide, please. Okay, so this slide shows the positions that we are actively trying to fill. On our booth, you will find individual job descriptions for each position. So I've got those in detail, so please take a look at those to see if there's any positions that might be of interest to you. We do pride ourselves on training people from the ground up for most jobs. So while education experience are wonderful advantages in many cases, we also consider the fact that many of our processes are totally unique to us, and we have to train you regardless. Most of the time, we are just looking for people who are reliable and dependable and have a sense of pride in their work no matter what they do. So the group on the left in the green box are our administrative positions. These are office positions that typically involve sitting at a desk most of the day, and they do require certain skill levels, proficiency with computers, in many cases a specific type of a degree. We offer flexible schedules, and while most employees work 8 to 5 with an hour lunch, we have some who come in early and leave early, or come in later, or take a shorter lunch period. It really just depends on the supervisor and the department needs. During much of 2020, many employees who were able did work remotely from home, or we worked staggered 4 10-hour shifts to allow for less people in the office. We're currently back full force in the office at this point now. The positions in the right in the black box are our production positions. They are grouped by facility, metal and wood. These are labor positions that for the most part do require a certain amount of physical activity, standing all day, lifting and manipulating heavy products, bending, twisting, kneeling, etc. For the more skilled positions like welders, laser operators, and maintenance techs, we do prefer experience, a certificate, or some combination of both. We do have lighter duty jobs in our wood plant facility on our cutting board line, and that is where the greatest need is right now. These are general labor positions. They don't require any training, nothing more than a high school degree, and usually involve minimal lifting. So we do have a lot of women in those positions as well. Unbelievably, 2020 was a record year for us in cutting boards. We sold over 200,000 cutting boards, and we worked 3 shifts and much overtime during most of 2020. All indications are that 2021 is shaping up to be the same. So again, we are looking for labor positions more than anything right now. Furthermore, now that restaurants are opening back up, our metal facility, which had slowed down a little bit last year, is now starting to get back to full throttle. And we have once again initiated expansion plans for the metal facility. There's also an opening that I was just made aware of this morning, so I wasn't able to get it on this list. I did put the job description on the booth, however, and that is for our factory showroom and outlet. We are looking for a sales associate there as a lady is transitioning over to the office. So our outlet store, if you haven't been there, is located on Mid-America Avenue West, north of town, right behind the Steak and Shake. And this is an admin position, but because it's in retail, the hours are include Saturday rotation. So it's still a 40-hour week, as you would get a day off for those weeks that you worked on a Saturday. Next slide, please. So why would you want to consider John Boos as an employer? Well, part of our attraction has always been our stability. If you want to start a career or finish a career without the worry of job security, then you'll see that we've survived wars, depressions, recessions, and now a COVID pandemic like none other. We attribute most of our success to the diversity of our product line. We've learned to adapt and change and develop products that are in demand, but also in offsetting markets. We're very flexible. We offer various job schedules, remote work opportunities, special arrangements for those who are working and also attending school, plenty of paid time off for personal and vacation needs. We also offer internships for high school and college age students, as well as job shadowing for potential new hires to see if they really like the job before they accept the position. Some of our benefits include various medical plan options, life insurance, vision insurance, paid prescriptions, safety glasses for production employees, all of the supplemental policies through AFLAC, paid vacation, paid PTO, paid holidays, 401k plan, profit sharing, variable pay, among others. We also believe in promoting our employees and hiring from within. Many have worked up through the plant into office positions, and others have worked their way up through clerical entry-level positions all the way up to management. Our production employees are protected by a collective bargaining agreement that determines wages and other terms of employment. It's the Carpenters and Joiners of America. The contract guarantees a minimum rate of pay and regular advances on a tiered schedule throughout the life of the contract. So you'll always receive a raise, even in a year when we may not be as profitable as expected. And if you're motivated, you'll be eligible for merit pay above the contract rate. Finally, we basically have a heritage of developing a brand that you can be proud of. Generations of families have worked for John Boos and Company. Many current employees have been here for over 40 years. And just a few years ago, our executive secretary retired after 50 years of employment. It was rather entertaining to show the newer employees that she had started out at an hourly wage of 25 cents an hour. So there's just something very satisfying about seeing a raw piece of lumber that is dried in our own kilns and then crafted through a meticulous process into a beautiful piece of furniture. Our employees love what they do, and they love being part of a long-standing history of American-made products. My favorite catchphrase when onboarding new employees is that we believe the reward is in the journey of the raw product to the finished product, the journey through development of new products to meet the latest demand, and the journey of the employee using his or her skills and talents to contribute to our success and further his career. Some final things I need to mention: we do require pre-employment, post-offer drug screens and background screens for all employees. Our office attire is generally business casual, but we do allow jeans on Fridays. We do have a COVID response team in place to monitor and communicate to all employees any of the latest COVID activity and federal and state regulations. Now that Illinois is in phase 4, we encourage masks, but we no longer mandate them. All of our positions are properly distanced at least 6 feet apart, and we perform daily cleaning and sanitizing, as well as deep cleaning if necessary. Final slide, please. This is my contact information. You will find our standard application on our website, as well as on the Illinois workNet Center booth. You may email it to hr@johnboos.com. You can fax it to me, or you can even come in and complete an application in our main office. If you have a resume, you do not need to complete an application. Just email me your resume. And certainly if you have more specific questions after this event, please call me directly. My number is there, 217-342-8008. because I would love to speak to you personally and answer any specific questions that you might have. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Raina. And I just do want to pause here momentarily and remind folks that if you do have any questions for Raina regarding employment with John Booz, please feel free to enter those questions into the chat and we'll get those answered for you during the Q&A session that will be taking place after all employers have presented. Our next presenter will be Rachel with Patterson Technology. Rachel, are you available to present?
I'm ready if you're ready.
Fantastic. You can begin whenever you're ready, Rachel.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for attending. I'm Rachel Miller with the Patterson Technology Center. We are based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. That's where our corporate office is. But we do have locations across the United States. We have deep roots in the Effingham community, though, because we started here in 1993 with just one product. It was our EagleSoft software for dental offices. In 1997, we were purchased by Patterson Companies, which expanded all of our offerings to the veterinary field, and we included the sale of office supplies and sundries as well. Next slide, please. Our core values at Patterson are passion, focused, people first, and always advancing. We're very passionate about our work. We're focused on our customers, our business, and our future. People first, we like to take care of the people that take care of our business, and that means a lot to us. And we're always trying to advance, whether it be software, technology for our own company or for our users. So we are a collection of departments here in Effingham that develop, sell, and support the Patterson software products. Next slide, please. So we currently, this slide says 7 positions, but today, or was it yesterday? One of those days, they kind of all run together these days. We have 9 positions available. All of those positions are in different departments, but they're very similar in the roles of the activities that they perform. They are responding to incoming customer requests, either by phone, email, or live chat sessions. And in those instances and interactions, our employees are troubleshooting to resolve customer issues. We try and do that as quickly and effectively as we can to get a one-call resolution. We require that they communicate professionally and effectively with the customers and maintain relevant skills. We provide internal training and continuing education for all of our employees. Next slide, please. So the qualifications for our positions, this isn't a complete list, but it's the high points. We look for people with a high school diploma or equivalent. Associate's degrees are definitely an advantage in this field of employment. We look for strong customer service skills, excellent verbal communication, a positive attitude, and high quality standards are really important. Excellent computer skills are really essential in this role, but we can teach people who don't have a lot of computer skills. We just need the basics to start with, and we can always improve upon those. We'd like for our people to have quick decision-making skills and solid judgment. You've got to be able to multitask in this role. There are a lot of balls in the air for this job. There are several guidelines and procedures that are important to have at your fingertips, so a good memory. Excellent organizational skills, analytical and problem-solving skills are also helpful. We do require a full background check and drug screen also. Next slide, please. So you might be asking, why should I look for a position at Patterson? We've got remote working opportunities. Right now, at this time with the pandemic still kind of going on, most all of our positions are remote. We do provide all of the equipment for these positions. and all of our training, the majority of our training is remote virtual training, much like the Zoom meeting that we're in. That's how we would provide the education for our positions. We have full medical, dental, vision, and life insurance, plus a ton of other insurance that you can opt in or out of. We have a wellness program. In fact, they just sent me a free scale that connects to the internet. It's really pretty cool little perk. You get 3 weeks of paid vacation in your first year. We have holiday time off, and I can't quite see the bottom of the screen there. Holiday time off, vacation time, floating holidays, and we have volunteer time off. Volunteering is a big part of what the company promotes. Giving back to the community that supports your business is one of our pillars. So we have a flexible working environment. So we're trying to figure out what the future looks like as far as going back into the office. Right now we're conducting a survey as to what people are interested in having, whether they want to work in the office every day or if they want to have a hybrid schedule to where maybe you're home some days and in the office some days. Let's see. Next slide, please. I think that might be my last one. Okay, so here are just some general questions that we put together. The hours, primarily the newer hires are from 10, their shift is 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. The call center is open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. currently. However, prior to the pandemic, we were open till 9 p.m. and we are looking at going back to those hours. So new hires could work 10:30 to 7. It could be changed to like a 1 to 9, 12:30 to 9 p.m. But we do reevaluate shifts probably, I'd say quarterly to every 6 months. And we do reward shifts based on merit. So performance is a key in getting to an earlier shift as most people would want. The training, as I stated before, it's remote. At your home with the equipment that we provide you. There are a couple of positions where we do require that people go into the office for a training that lasts about 3 weeks. The training is usually 2 to 4 weeks, depending on your department. When you are in the building, we do provide personal protective gear, masks, things like that, and we do require social distancing. Advancement opportunities, there are so many ways you can go further at Patterson. You can add to your knowledge and learn different areas of the business, taking calls, or you can find another area that you want to move into, such as writing the software, selling the software. Maybe you want to travel and train for offices. So you have to be in your position for about 6 months before you can advance to a different position. And raises, again, it's based on how much effort you put into it, but you can get an increase in pay, between 6 months to a year of being there. And if you're really ambitious, you can continue to add knowledge to your profile and keep adding as much as you can. So how would you apply? Just go to jobs.pattersoncompanies.com, upload a resume, and there are a few questions out there that we'd like for you to complete as well. Let's see, I think that is about everything that we have. I'm gonna turn it back over to, let's see, Daniel.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Rachel, for your presentation.
Thank
And
you.
again, I just want to reiterate, if you do have any questions for Rachel regarding employment with Patterson Technology, please feel free to enter those questions into the chat and we'll get those answered for you during Q&A. Our next presenter is Kyra with Sherwin Williams. Kyra, are you available to present?
I am. So my name is Kyra Harvey. I am the HR journalist with Sherwin Williams, and I want to thank everyone for getting on here today to hear about the opportunity we have to offer. The next slide, if you will. So So Sherwin Williams was founded in 1866 by our founding fathers, Henry Sherwin and Edwin Williams. The headquarters is in Cleveland, Ohio. We are a global leader in manufacturing, distributions, sales of paints, coatings, related products to professional industries, commercial, and retail customers. Product brands that Sherwin Williams manufactures is Sherwin Williams, Dutch Boy, Krylon, Minwax, Thompson's Water Seal, Cobbett, Valspar, and many more. The Effingham DSC opened in 1986. We are the largest distribution center within the Sherwin Williams Company. We have over 600 employees here in Effingham servicing the warehouse and transportation operations. We are an essential business during COVID-19 and have established social distancing protocols. Next slide, please. Currently, we have openings for our warehouse technicians. As a warehouse technician, you're going to be operating a forklift. Forklift experience is recommended, but it's not necessarily required. In addition, you'll be using an order picker, operating a high lift, and using an industrial battery changer. A lot of our employees start out in the warehouse as a picker, and then they work their way up. So a lot of our management team at one point did start out on the floor and then moved into the other opportunities available. The current shift we have would be a hybrid shift, which is 4 10-hour shifts. We have a hybrid 1 and a hybrid 2. The schedules can be a little confusing, so I do have them listed on there. Hybrid 1 is Monday 11 p.m. to Tuesday at 9 a.m., Friday 9 p.m. to Saturday at 9 a.m., Saturday 9 p.m. to Sunday at 7 a.m., Sunday 11 p.m. to Monday at 9 a.m. Hybrid 2 is Wednesday 11 p.m. to Thursday at 9 a.m., Thursday 11 p.m. to Friday at 9 a.m., Friday 11 p.m. to Saturday at 9 a.m., and Saturday 9 p.m. to Sunday at 7 a.m. Those are the current shifts we have available. We do quarterly shift move, so once you join the team here at Sherwin Williams, every quarter we post what we have available, and you can apply internally to move to another shift. The position does require you to physically lift 40 to 50 pounds on a regular basis and occasionally up to 100 pounds. We also have a private fleet here at Sherwin Williams looking for regional drivers. Our regional drivers average over $85,000 a year. We require 2 years of verifiable Class A CDL driving experience in the last 10. For this position, the schedule is you're going to run your 70 hours and then go home for your 34-hour reset. You could expect to average 2,200 miles per week. It's definitely a very labor-intensive position. Our drivers do have to unload the trailers. So when you get to one of our stores, you would move the freight to the end of the trailer using a manual pallet jack, where a store personnel would then take it into the store. Next slide, please. Our company paid benefits include a pension, 401k with a company match up to 6%, basic life insurance, short-term disability, long-term disability, and the company pays 75% of the health insurance premiums. Other benefits include health insurance. There's 3 different plans to choose from: vision insurance, dental insurance. We have paid vacation days plus paid holidays. Here at Sherwin Williams, we're continuously reviewing all of our benefits to make sure we're in comparison to the market and taking well care of our employees. Additional benefits include supplemental life insurance, flex savings spending account, hospital amenity, critical illness, accident insurance, auto insurance, home insurance. My favorite insurance is pet insurance, tuition reimbursement, and much more. Next slide. So again, my name is Kyra Harvey. I am the HR generalist. Below is my phone number if you want to save it. You can reach me anytime. If you want to apply, you can go to www.sherwin.com/Effingham for our warehouse opportunities, or www.sherwin.com/drivers for any of our driver positions. I hope to be meeting some of you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Kyra. And again, I just want to reiterate for the folks who just joined the call, if you do have any questions for Kyra regarding employment with Sherwin Williams, please feel free to enter those into the chat. We'll get those answered for you during the Q&A session that will be taking place after all employers have presented. Next presenter we have is Siemer Milling Company. Amanda, hopefully I didn't butcher that name too much. If I did, please feel free to correct me, but are you available to present?
Yes, I am here, Daniel, and you did just fine. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to come in and listen about the opportunities here in Effingham County. Definitely, we have a great workforce and great opportunities in the community. So, and we, Siemer Milling Company, hope to be right up there with everybody else. So Siemer Milling Company, if you're not aware, our primary product is wheat flour that's milled to different specifications for the making of such foods as cookies, crackers, cakes, pretzels, batters, bread, and biscuits. You can go ahead and advance. So about the company opened back in 1882 as Hope Mills, Upmore, and Siemer Proprietors here in Teotopolis. In 1906, Joseph and his son Clement J. Siemer bought out the other interests and established as Siemer Milling Company. In 1950, the company committed itself back solely to milling wheat flour. And then in 1979, we built our new mill operations here in Teotopolis. You can kind of see it in the picture right there by the railroad tracks at the bottom picture. And today we have our Teotopolis location still operating, of course, with many advances since 1979 and before. We also have a location in West Harrison, Indiana that we opened back in 2015. And another location in Hopkinsville, Kentucky that we opened in 1995. At these three locations, we employ about 180 people. We purchase 25 million bushels of locally grown wheat annually, around typically in a 100-mile radius of those three locations. And we have a current market value in excess of $110 million and produce 750,000 tons of processed wheat products, including flour, bran, and wheat germany. You can go ahead and advance. So again, just kind of on a map, here's our three locations from Teotopolis, both the West Harrison and Hopkinsville location. It takes about 3.5 hours to get to those locations. And we like to, we work together often. We have operations meetings with our corporate office here in Teotopolis with those other two locations and the Teotopolis location every week. Communication is one of our biggest items here at the company, and everybody wants to be involved and know what's going on to make sure business is running as it should be. You can go ahead and advance. So here are some logos of our customers that use Siemer Milling flour that you'll see on the store shelves. A lot of ones that you might identify with Duncan Hines, just here specifically in Teotopolis, we make flour for the cake mixes. That's done down in Centralia. And then of course, yeah, a lot of those other ones that might be coming out of Teotopolis or the other mills, we like to, if say one mill is having an issue, we like, or is really busy and does not have the production time, we like to be able to have our other locations approved to make the flour for that customer. Of course, it has to be approved in advance, just to make sure specifications is where that customer or the product is in the correct specifications for that customer. Okay, you can go ahead and advance. So, job opportunities, why we're here today. We currently have 2 openings at the Teotopolis location. The first one is our miller. So you would actually be taking in that wheat and milling it down to the customer specifications. So what that includes is blending, cleaning, and tempering of wheat, monitoring the proper operations of the mill, maintaining a high flour yield and quality of all grades and blends of flour as specifications dictate. Qualifications, the individual must have a high school diploma or equivalent and have strong decision-making abilities. Physical requirements include lifting up to 50 pounds, frequently utilizing the 7 flights of stairs in the mill, and the ability to withstand warm temperatures in the summer months. With the equipment, it does get warm in the mill. Starting pay for the position is $17 per hour. Again, with determination and ability to catch on, somebody might see increases fairly quickly. We do training. This isn't really a field that most other people might have experience in the area. So most of the training is, of course, on the job. There are some colleges or formal training of milling that we do offer to employees to take and encourage employees to take. For the hours, so it's kind of a little bit different. It's a 12-hour rotating shift. So what that means is individuals and millers would be on day shift for 3 months. So they would be working 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they would be on 2 days, off 2 days, on 3 days, off 3 days, and that would just continue to rotate. And then after that 3 months has passed, then they would switch to nights, which would be 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Again, on 2 days, off 2 days, on 3, on off 3. We like when we have orders for the mill to be running 24/7. So occasional weekends do come up, but you know when those weekends are going to be, so you can plan in advance. Our other opportunity here is our customer service. What this individual would be doing is scheduling production of the flour by receiving and processing customer orders. This includes frequent communication with the mill staff to keep up on production, pickups, and meeting of customer requirements. For qualifications for this position, again, you must have a high school diploma or equivalent, must have good detail, be a very detail-oriented individual, strong math and communication skills, proficient in Microsoft Office, specifically Excel. And for this one, the starting pay would vary depending on what kind of experience the individual might have. The hours for the position are 7:30 a.m. through 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, with on-call for customer issues or mill issues as they might come up, including the weekend when the mill is operating. Okay, you can go ahead and advance. So what do we offer in return for individuals' hard work? Job security. Again, we've been around for 137 years plus. We're very proud of how our staff likes to stick around. They're proud to be working for Siemer Milling Company. Over 65% of our Teotopolis staff has been with the company for over 5 years. And many of those individuals have been with the company for over 20, 30, 40, and we even have one individual that has been with us for over 50 years and still going strong. So, we're very proud of our work staff and what they have contributed to the company over the years. We also have group health insurance, which for one of the plans, we have 3 different plans. One of the plans is our high deductible plan, which you can do the HSA with, and we do have an employer match with your HSA. We have group life insurance, which is completely a benefit of the company. The company pays the premiums on that plan. You can also take out additional voluntary term life insurance for the employee, for their spouse, and their children at a group rate, premium rate. Same with short and long-term disability that is available at a group premium rate available to the employees. We have a dental optical fund, and all of these items are available after the employee has been with the company for 30 days and then the start of the next month. Another great benefit, especially if you talk to some of those individuals that have been with the company for 10 plus years, is our retirement plan. It's a combination of an ESOP, which is the employee stock ownership plan, where the company, depending on the success of the company, that success translates into money going into the individual's employee stock ownership plan and available to them at retirement. And then also we do have an employer matched 401k as well. We do have a very nice annual performance bonus. If the company does well, they will pay that out to the employees. at the end of the fiscal year. We offer holiday pay, personal time off hours. We do have PTO available as of the individual's 7th day worked, paid time, paid parental leave, paid bereavement leave, double time for hours worked on Sundays. So again, we recognize that those production to continue to work through the weekend. You know, it's asking a lot of individuals. So another nice benefit to working on Sundays is you get double time for those hours. Tuition reimbursement and referral bonuses. And then we like to promote within and provide the necessary training to do so to continue the individual's career with the company. You can go ahead and advance. So how to apply. You're more than welcome to stop by the office here at Teotopolis. We're right along Main Street. Otherwise, you can go to siemermilling.com, go to the employment tab and apply on there. You'll see the miller and the customer service opening there. And if you'd like to, you can reach out to me directly. My number is 217-857-2198 and my email address is listed. Thank you everybody for your time and attention and consideration of working with Siemer Milling Company. Back to you, Daniel.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Amanda. And again, I just want to reiterate, if you do have any questions for Amanda regarding employment with Siemer, please feel free to enter those into the chat and we'll get those answered for you after all employers have presented. The next presenter we have is Emily with Stevens Industries. Emily, are you available to present?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so like Daniel said, my name is Emily Hilly. I'm the marketing manager with Stevens Industries. I also have Sarah Calger here with me who will go over some information about employment here at Stevens and our available positions. Advance this slide, please. So a little bit about Stevens Industries. The company was founded back in 1956 by Chuck Stevens, who started by making wood products in his father-in-law's two-car garage here in town of Teotopolis. Today, the company has evolved to a more than 450,000 square foot facility and more than 500 employees. Stevens is known as the largest manufacturer of commercial casework and architectural millwork in the United States. And in addition to that quality casework and architectural millwork, we also have award-winning textured wood grade panels. We also offer specialty lines of laboratory casework, furniture, music, and instrument storage and childcare furniture. Some specialty brands in relations with Stevens are Stevens Advantage, Stevens Wood, Topmate, and ID Systems. You can advance, please. Some fun facts about Stevens to give you a little bit more of an idea of the products we produce. With the amount of panels that we will produce in 2020, if we laid all of those out flat, they would cover over 150 acres, which averages out to 6 acres per day. The company also produces laminate countertops, and if we were to line all of those up end to end, it would be 34 miles for the year, which is enough of countertops to cover between Effingham and Mattoon. Stevens will produce 200,000 cabinets this year, and that's enough cabinets to remodel approximately 13,000 kitchens. And the amount of edge banding that we use per year would stretch over 2,000 miles, or the distance between Effingham and Los Angeles. You can proceed, please.
Okay, so why would somebody want to work here at Stevens? Well, we are 100% employee owned with an ESOP program. So a lot of our employees do get to retire early, which is a huge benefit. We do have a 401k that we match 200% and the employer up to 6%. So that's really nice to have. We do have competitive pay. And we have lots of room for growth and advancement. So you may start in one position, but maybe you become a manager, or you switch to a different department, and that's a very high possibility here if that's something you would like to do. We are solidly established. We've been here for a good amount of time and we're still growing. And we have been deemed as an essential manufacturer during the COVID-19 pandemic. You can go to the next slide, please. Okay, so some of our open positions, we have assembler positions. That's more of, putting hardware on, different things like that. And we do have CNC operator positions. And those positions that we have open currently are on second or third shift, which you do get a guaranteed 10% shift premium. So for example, if you have, minimal CNC operator position or experience and you start at, $16.50 an hour, that's what it would look like with that 10% instead of having just $15 an hour. And we do have a CAD drafter position. So if you know anybody that wants to do some CAD drafting, we would love to see you apply for that position. Next slide, please. So how to apply, if you go to stevensind.com/careers, you will see all of our available positions. I am the recruiter and HR generalist. My name is Sarah. So you can email me, there's my personal email, or you can call me and I would be glad to talk to you about opportunities that we have for you. Next slide, please. I think that's it.
Fantastic. Thank you for that presentation, Emily and Sarah. And again, if you do have any questions for Sarah or Emily regarding employment with Stevens Industries, please feel free to enter those into the chat. We'll get those answered for you during the Q&A session that will be taking place after all employers have presented. The next presenter we have is Alicia with Versatech. Alicia, are you available to present?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Thank you so much to everyone joining us. Thanks for holding tight to the end. Versatech coming in strong. So my name's Alicia Boer. I'm the HR manager here at Versatech. We are located in Effingham. We're right, just right over by in between the high school and the cross. So what we specialize in is manufacturing, robotics, automation, and work holding or fixturing. So we're a company on the edge of technology. You can see our core values here on this slide. Safety is always going to come first. Between safety and family, we want everyone going home to their family in the exact same condition they showed up to. Community is also very important to us. Our community has been, Effingham County has been very good to us, and we want to return the favor and be good to our employees and to the company as a whole. Relationships and teamwork go together. Quality, we want to produce and design the top quality technology, and that kind of leads into the ingenuity and integrity. Like I said, we're on the cutting edge of technology in the manufacturing world. So you can proceed to the next slide, please. We are considered an essential manufacturing. So like most of the other employers on the call, we did continue working throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. A little bit about Versatech. We're a pretty unique company because there's two divisions of our facility. We have the larger chunk, which is our engineering. We also call this our design and build side. We are doing custom machine design all the way from concept to completion. So in this area, we employ individuals on our engineering side, so degreed engineers, machining, CNC machinists here, both degreed and just work experience. They typically do the setup and the programming of the equipment, of the CNC equipment themselves. We have an assembly group who is responsible for building all the equipment, and then controls and service. So we also have a group of employees who are wiring up control boxes and programming PLCs and programming robots, and then we'll go out on the road, install and service this equipment. So that's the first division. The second is our contract manufacturing. On this side, we do mid to high volume production machining for the automotive industry. So these are also CNC machinists who are operating that equipment, more repetitive type work. And then we do a little bit of end of life service machining in this area as well. Next slide, please. The positions that we are currently looking for on our engineering side, we are looking for a design engineer. This individual will develop the concept of the entire machine and create a model using SolidWorks software. This is a little bit of a mix of office and shop floor environment. You're behind the computer designing and using that software, but then as the equipment gets built and ran through the process, you would then catch back up with it on the backside and make sure everything runs appropriately and as the way you designed it. For this position, a bachelor's degree in engineering or a related field or similar work experience would be preferred. We are looking for someone with 5 to 10 years of design, manufacturing, automation experience. This is a salaried position, again, just based on the number of years and relatable experience you would have. We're also looking for an applications engineer. This individual will gather the details and compile the data to estimate the production costs according to specifications. So the applications engineer works very closely with our sales engineers and will develop a concept, decide what customers want, what works best for their business. And then this is an office environment position. You will be behind a computer at a desk for the majority of your day, regular email and phone communication. We are looking again for a bachelor's degree in engineering or related field or the similar work experience. This is more of an entry-level position. So we are looking for those pretty recent graduates, 1 to 5 years of experience. Again, this is a salaried position based on your experience. We're also looking for 2021 summer interns. So part-time to full-time work in a couple different areas. We're going to kind of base the program on our applicants or our candidates and what their interests are. You can apply a couple different ways. I do have these postings up on Indeed. You can head to our Versatech website, or you can send your resume directly to me. My email's here on the bottom of this slide, but it's again at the end of the presentation. So next slide, please. And I'll talk about our open positions on our contract manufacturing side. We do have a maintenance tech position open on third shift. The third shift hours are 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Looking for that technical maintenance and repair on 30 plus CNC machines, a little bit of facility maintenance with that as well, with the pay ranging anywhere between $17 to $25 based on experience. Please apply and we can discuss that pay range if you are interested in this position. And our highest need are our machine operators, our CNC machine operators. We're looking for individuals on all shifts. We run 24 hours a day, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., and 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. These individuals need to consistently and safely operate the CNC machines, loading and raw products and removing finished goods as produced. Again, options to apply are there at the bottom. Next slide, please. Why Versatech? Unlike a lot of the employers that are also on the call, we are a small company. We were just established in 2008. We're in our third location and have about 75 to 80 full and part-time employees. So every single person walking in the door really makes a difference here. We truly believe in a family-first culture. Because we're smaller, we're really able to understand what everyone's going through personally. We know everyone by name and again, families first. Being a little smaller, we're also able to be a little bit more laid back. If you're not having fun at work, that's where you spend the majority of your time. So we really encourage, we come in, we get the job done, we do what we need to do, but try to make it a fun atmosphere. The benefits that we offer, we do have health insurance. We have 2 plans, a PPO plan and an HSA plan. The HSA plan also comes with the health savings account at a local bank. Dental, vision, short-term disability, long-term disability, life insurance, and then some supplemental plans, accident, critical illness, and cancer. We do offer a 401k with a 100% employer match, vacation time, and then we celebrate 10 holidays here. Work schedules. We do offer flexible work schedules if the position allows, as well as remote work. We will have that conversation again if the position allows you to do so. A couple other perks, we have tuition reimbursement and gym reimbursement, training, ongoing training and things of that nature. So next slide, please. So again, here's my information. Our website is listed there, www.versatech1.com. You'll hit the Join Our Team tab and complete the employee application. You can also just email your resume to me. That's my first name, period, last name at versatech1.com, as well as my phone number. So please feel free to reach out to me directly with any questions or concerns. And again, I appreciate everyone's time and attention, and again, for the hosts of the virtual job fair. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Alicia. And again, as I've previously stated, if you do have any questions for Alicia regarding employment with Versatech or application questions, please feel free to enter those into the chat, and we'll get those answered for you during our upcoming Q&A session. With the conclusion of Alicia's presentation, we have actually reached the conclusion of all of our presenters' presentations. So we will be transitioning again into the Q&A session at this time. I kind of want to give a brief overview of how that process is going to look for the presenters and job seekers alike. Again, if you do have any questions as a job seeker, please feel free to enter those into the chat. We'll get those answered for you. Those questions will be our primary focus in the event that we do not get any questions. As I've stated with the presenters before the call, I have some just generalized questions that I have pre-prepared on my end that job seekers, will probably be interested in hearing. Again, some of the information might be repetitive to an extent. You might have already covered it during your presentations, but please keep in mind, we did have a few folks who joined the session a little bit late. So with that, we'll go ahead and dive right in. How it's going to work is we're going to just go through the list sequentially. So we're going to start back at the beginning with John Booth, and then we'll work our way exactly through the same order of presentation all the way to Versatech, and then we'll repeat that process. So hopefully that wasn't too complicated. If you do have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me and we'll get those cleared up. So it does not appear, at least at the moment, that we have any questions from job seekers. So we'll go ahead and pull a question off the list that I have for Raina with John Booth. First question that I have for you is, how long does your hiring process typically take from the point of submitting an application to actually being extended an official offer for hire?
We usually hire pretty quickly. If the need is there, we can get it done in a week or two, depending on how many applicants we have. For positions that we're looking out in the future a little bit further, we may take more time, but we generally don't advertise unless we're looking for them immediately.
Fantastic. Thank you, Raina. And Rachel with Patterson, you available to answer that question as well?
Certainly. So for our openings, we usually, the gap between the interview and the offer can be 3 to 4 weeks. And then from the date of the offer, we like to have 3 weeks from the offer date to the start date.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rachel. And Kyra with Sherwin, are you available to answer that question as well?
Yes, typically from when you apply to when you interview is about 24 hours. We do make offers on the spot depending on how the interview goes. If an offer is made on the spot, I can typically have you ready to start within 3 days to about 2 weeks. It just depends. If you've lived in the area, background checks seem to come back faster. So depending on where all you've lived and everything, it takes anywhere from about a week to 2 weeks.
Excellent. Thank you, Kyra. And Amanda with Siemer Milling, are you available to answer that question as well?
Yes, I am. So it varies for Siemer Milling Company. Again, we prefer to keep the initial application to job offer within a few weeks, but it, sometimes depending on applications and amount of candidates and whatnot, that process might get extended a little bit, but we like to keep it as short as possible to keep everybody in the loop and moving forward. I do want to also mention, I don't believe I mentioned this in the presentation, we do also do, after a conditional offer is made, we do also do a background and drug screen as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Amanda. And Emily and/or Sarah with Stevens Industries.
Yeah, so it depends on what the position is, and how long that takes. But for most of our assembler CNC, most of those we get an offer within a week. And then some of the office and clerical, it's more, 2 weeks or more, just depending on how many applicants we are down to.
Excellent. Thank you. And finally, Alicia with Versatech.
It is going to depend a little bit on the position. Here at Versatech, our interview process looks a little different for our design engineers versus our machine operators, just because of the skill and technical nature of those positions. The design engineer may be a few interview process. We may go through, 2 or 3 interviews with various individuals on the team, versus our machine operators those are typically one interview with a couple different members of our team, and then we complete a tour of our facility. So after interview, we typically have decisions made between 2 to 3 weeks, again, just depending on how many candidates we have for the position.
Fantastic. Thank you, Alicia. And while I have you on the call here still, I did have a question that came up in the chat for you. This individual asked, for Versatech, are the internships only offered during summer?
They are not. So we typically like to start our internships in the summer, just so we can have those interns work on day shift hours. That's when our more seasoned mentor type employees are working. So we like to start them in the summer, but if these individuals are continuing education locally, we've done part-time, summer internships transition to part-time work while going to Lakeland College, for example. Hours can be pretty flexible, or for those seeking continuing education a little further away, come back during Christmas break or the following, spring break or the following summer break. We like to keep those interns employed part-time. We have quite a few, probably 4 or 5 individuals who are full-time employees now that started off as summer interns. So great success stories coming in through the summer internship program.
Fantastic. Thank you for that information, Alicia. In keeping with the chat section here, we did receive another question. And I do believe that this was covered during Patterson's presentation, but nonetheless, we'll get it answered again for folks who might have joined a little bit late. How long is the training period? And this is for Rachel.
So the training period is a classroom style training. It'll be done virtually in most cases, and it lasts about 2 to 3 weeks. There is one training in particular that we do in the building, and it is also a 3-week training.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Rachel. So we're going to go ahead and pivot back to kind of the pre-prepared questions that I have. Before I do so, I do want to pause and encourage folks who are job seekers on the call to please do not hesitate or be shy. Please enter your questions into the chat. You have a prime opportunity right now with a lot of these HR folks to get your questions answered directly. So please take advantage of that opportunity. Pivoting back to the questions that I have pre-prepared, we're going to start again with John Boos. The question that I have for you, Raina, is how can a candidate stand out and get an interview, assuming they are qualified for the position in which they are applying?
Well, I think the first thing that we look at is the resume or the application. So please make sure you complete your application in full, legibly, or that your resume includes all relevant experience and or education. That's kind of the first thing I look at. So if it stands out, then you're more likely to get in the door. And then of course, your personality and everything in an interview is going to come into play, but we'll never see that if we don't pick you out on paper first. And we do get a lot of applicants to our positions, so make sure you wow me that first opportunity.
Understood. Thank you, Raina. Rachel with Patterson, can you answer that question as well?
So to stand out as an applicant for our positions, I would encourage you to upload a resume. We get a lot of people that just kind of fill in the form, but if you have a professional resume, that's one thing that you can do to have a leg up on the competition. Also, ensuring that your contact information is accurate. You would be surprised at the number of people that we get who apply and either have got their phone number listed incorrectly or don't have their voicemail set up, so we can't get in touch with them. And the last thing would be just to be prepared, do your research, and be on time for your interview.
All great points and great information. Thank you, Rachel. Kyra with Sherwin, are you available to answer that question as well?
Yes, so here at Sherwin Williams, we do interview all applicants, but a way to stand out would be to make sure you do have the accurate contact information. Put your work history on your application. There's a lot of times I go into an application and I'm kind of left wondering, what has this person been doing, because it's left blank. And then when you do have your interview, arrive on time, be prompt, and just kind of follow the directions that I give you for the interview before you come.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyra. And Amanda with Siemer Milling.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage individuals, there's many different outlets to apply. We do post on Facebook, and some of those different outlets do not go directly, sharing all needed information directly to us. So if you do, like on Facebook, we send out an automatic reply back saying, please go to our website or come on site and apply, just to make sure we get that required information completed. So just make sure you're paying attention to those messages, including emails. And if you feel like you haven't been contacted, please give us a call. We'd love to give you a status of your application or make sure that it was received.
Excellent. Thank you, Amanda. And Sarah with Stevens Industries.
Basically what everybody else has said, make sure that you fill out your work history and have accurate contact information. Nothing is more, frustrating on our end when we want to interview you and we can't get a hold of you. So just make sure that you put that in correctly and don't add an additional number or something like that. And work history is just good, so that way we can see what you've been doing and help put you in the best position possible for you if we know what you've been doing and what your skill set is.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. And Versatech, Alicia, can you answer that question as well?
Yeah, I don't have anything that's crazy different from what the other employers have said. Just accurately and completely fill out the application or your resume or whatever it is you're choosing to send in. For Versatech being a smaller company, please feel free to reach out to me directly via phone call or email. And I try to get back to everyone as quickly as I can. Just shows additional initiative to me when filling these positions.
Great. Thank you, Alicia. And we actually are going to pivot back to a question that we received in the chat, and this will be directed for you, Alicia. This individual asks, what is the hiring process like for summer interns? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, the hiring process is going to be the exact same as what we would do for open positions. So I'll start posting the position here in the next probably 2 weeks. And then we will start completing interviews on our candidates. Like I said, the exact role of these summer internships will be based on what the candidate is interested in, what they're going to school for. We have positions programming PLCs, programming the HMIs and the robots. We've got some CAD positions, CNC machinists. So you can do anything and everything here at Versatech. So we like to fit candidates to the jobs and jobs to the candidates. So I hope I answered the question as far as the hiring process, but it is going to mirror the process for open positions.
Excellent. Thank you, Alicia. And again, before I go back to the pre-prepared questions that I have, I just want to pause again and encourage folks to enter any questions that they have into the chat for any of the employers who presented here today. We'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. While we wait for some additional questions to come in, we'll go ahead and we'll ask another question for Raina with John Booth. Raina, on a lot of the job fairs that I've had, of course, a huge topic is, the pandemic, the state of the pandemic, more particularly COVID safety precautions that employers have in place. Can you kind of elaborate on what some of those might be?
Certainly. When the pandemic was starting out last year, we were considered an essential employer. So we did stay working both our manufacturing facilities and our office. We did, however, make remote work opportunities available to any positions that were applicable. Some positions just frankly can't work from home, so they had other opportunities available to them. For instance, working for 10-hour shifts, working offsetting shift schedules, so everybody wasn't entering the office at the same time. Production did work the entire time as well, but we were very lenient in terms of people taking time off. We had several elderly employees who maybe had underlying conditions and were concerned about being exposed. So they, of course, were allowed to take time off and we're not penalized for that. Of course, we also adhered to the FFCRA laws. We did pay the extended leave and the extended FMLA for those employees who qualified or who were tested and quarantined and or isolated. I think we managed the pandemic very well because we had very few cases and very few people who were quarantined during that period. We did do a complete review of all of our workstations. Obviously, our office people are already pretty much separated, but our plant positions, we did some studies and identified places where they were not socially distanced properly and made those accommodations, as well as our break rooms and our general areas where people would congregate. We encouraged people. Obviously, during the highest point, we required everyone to wear masks. But once we went back into stage 4, we are encouraging it. Some people do, some people don't. We just like to give them that flexibility. We encourage people to eat lunch in their vehicles or, alone and not to congregate. So we followed the rules as best as we could, and also within the parameters that we needed to keep our workforce working. We actually did lay off right at the very beginning when things slowed down. We laid off our second shift for a period of 2 weeks, and then we had to immediately start calling them back. So, but that's basically how we handled it. As of today, right now, everybody is working. We have some people that work remotely simply because they might still have childcare issues and or are in areas that maybe their kids aren't in school full time, or they are traveling, and so they work remote while they're traveling. But most of our office staff and all of our production staff are currently working on site at this point in time.
Excellent. Very thorough and very insightful. Thank you for that information, Raina. Rachel with Patterson, can you answer that question as well?
Sure. So Patterson was in a unique position when the pandemic began because we had already created what we call the redundancy plan. In the event of a catastrophe, we had established, avenues to work remotely. So once things started looking like we were going to have to segregate the employees, we just started sending equipment home, and pretty much I would say 95% of our staff is working remotely. There are a handful of people that do work in the building due to limitations of where they live. Basically, in the rural areas, they're not able to get high-speed internet, which would be required for our positions. So they do go in the building. When we are in the building, we do observe the CDC guidelines and social distancing. We provided everybody with masks and, other personal protective equipment. Our building is cleaned weekly, professionally, so everything's sanitized. And we're doing a evaluation of how many people want to be in the building, and we are taking that information and restructuring our furniture so that specialists will have enough social distance when they are in the building working.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Rachel. And Kyra with Sherwin, can you kind of cover just briefly what your COVID precautions are as well?
Yes, so whenever COVID first hit, we did offer a leave of absence for any employees that wanted to take off as we learned more about the virus. We also removed any point system. We have since added back our point system and have all of our employees working on site currently. We implemented a lot of safety structures. We, as a company, began producing hand sanitizer, so we provided hand sanitizer to all of our employees to keep with them on their pickers and to have their own hand sanitizer. We also added more sanitizing stations throughout the distribution center. We do have all employees wearing masks. We also broke out our shifts, so our first shift is now broken into 2 different groups just to keep the break room to a smaller group and maintain social distancing. When we increased our cleaners, so after every shift and lunch break, we would have the clean tables come in and get sanitized, cleaned, and taken care of.
Excellent. Thank you, Kyra. And Amanda with Siemer Milling.
Yeah, so again, central manufacturing. So we did not shut down at the beginning or any time through 2020 or 2021. Of course, people need to eat, so flour is a big part of that. Luckily, the operations in the mill and to keep the mill running with all the other departments that feed into that, for the most part, it was pretty simple. Those individuals are kind of working in their own space anyway, so social distancing wasn't really that big of a problem. When it came to the break rooms, we limited the amount of employees in the break rooms at a time, so that way the ones that were in there having lunch, they had space to distance from each other. We continue from the get-go and until today, we continue to sanitize the facility up and down daily, if not a couple times a day. Our training and meetings, we utilize different spaces throughout the facility that have virtual abilities to talk with each other with video. We utilize that and still do today as well. And then for masks, obviously if you're working if it's inevitable that you have to be working with somebody, we definitely encourage individuals to mask up. We provide masks to employees anytime they want them, even in the working facility, for food safety and personal protective equipment. Individuals, we have the N95s available to individuals for their safety as well. So those are some precautions. I'm sure I'm missing a few, but just to kind of give you an idea.
Understood. Thank you for that, Amanda. And Sarah with Stevens Industries, can you answer that question as well?
Yeah, so basically we do everything that everybody else has already stated. The only difference is we have temperature checks. So we have the system that's kind of like an iPad. You walk up to it and it takes your temperature for you. Outside of that, masks, plexiglass, all of the same things as everybody else.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. And finally, Alicia with Versatech.
Here at Versatech, we did our best to follow the CDC guidelines. Majority of our office staff worked from home or did a kind of a hybrid, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, etc. We did have a few employees who working from home was not an option for them. And so they were in the building. So we followed social distancing protocols, limited the number of people in our break rooms, etc. On our manufacturing floor, most of the work is done 6 feet apart. So just regularly monitoring that to ensure that individuals stayed that 6 feet requirement. Currently, masks are encouraged but not required. That change happened again when we went into the phase 4.
Awesome. Thank you, Alicia. And I do want to pause here again and just encourage folks, if you do have any questions for any of the employers here today, please feel free to enter those in the chat. We'll get those answered for you. We did actually receive a couple questions in the chat here. So what we'll do is I'll pose the question and we'll just go again sequentially with each employer, starting with John Boos. The question that I have for you all, this individual asks, for someone doing an industry change, what would make that person stand out and an attractive hire? Raina, do you have any insight there?
Well, we value experience in any industry, as well as education if it's applicable to the job. Not all jobs require an education. Certainly the manufacturing positions do not require anything other than a high school or a high school degree or a GED. Again, I think I mentioned in my presentation that we have a very unique industry and a lot of our equipment is very unique to our product. So we have to train people from the basics anyway. So an industry change wouldn't be hard. Certainly CNC router operators. I just had a lady in my office discussing benefits with her yesterday. She had come to us from another local employer as a CNC operator, but it was a completely different product, but she still carried a lot of the same knowledge that a CNC operator would need. So she transitioned to our job very easily. So again, you know, depending on the position, that certainly would maybe make a difference. Obviously, welders, they're in the welding industry, we typically use more precise welding, MIG and TIG welding, and a lot of welders come up to us with, you know, welding in the galvanized field and stuff. So that doesn't always translate as well. But again, we train them and we also provide for any education for people that may need to be trained on programming for CNCs and stuff. So again, we really just we want people who are going to show up for work and be dependable and reliable and want to, you know, stay with us for a while. So if we can grab onto those people from the get-go, we'll give them the training and we'll let them learn while they're here.
Awesome. Thank you, Raina. And Rachel with Patterson.
Sure. So we historically have hired people from a variety of different backgrounds, from manufacturing, fast food, truck drivers. We have captured employees from just many different areas. And I think the best thing that you can do is market your transferable skills, you know, things that are going to translate well from the thing that you came from. We've offered detailed training. So if you've got something that we could build on, you know, customer service skills, if you're self-motivated, if, you know, if you've got motivation to go out and, you know, use your resources and get on the internet and learn just a little bit about something that is relative to customer service and call center experience, we can take those little bits and build on them to make you successful in a role as a support specialist.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. And Kyra with Sherwin, can you answer that question as well?
Many of our warehouse positions don't necessarily require a degree. And as I mentioned in the presentation, a lot of our opportunities are filled internally. We have a lot of growth opportunities. While being employed here at Sherwin Williams, you're gaining that experience, gaining that knowledge. So just showing the passion, the willingness to learn new challenges and take on new opportunities really helps show and sell you as an individual. But also just the willingness to take advantage of going to trainings and taking different courses that we think we'd recommend to you for growth. But a lot of our current management staff at one point was working out on the floor, whether it be 5 years ago or 30 years ago, and they've just worked their way up.
Excellent. Thank you, Kyra. And Amanda with Siemer Milling.
Yeah, same thing that these other ladies have said. For most of the occupations that we have here at Siemer Milling Company, most of it is on the job training. So, showing on your application resume that you stick with a place, that you don't just job hop, providing those skills of what is relevant to the opening, but maybe not specifically experienced specifically for that type of job. We definitely keep an eye out and even just talking through in the interview of what your past includes and what experience you have, what your hopes are for the future. Definitely things that our hiring manager considers.
Excellent. Thank you, Amanda. And Sarah with Stevens, can you answer that question as well?
Yes. So again, basically what everybody has said in the past, but also just making sure that you have all of your past experience and really relating that to that position that you're really wanting to go for. Any transferable information is always helpful.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. And Alicia with Versatech.
Transferable and soft skills are really what's going to sell you. Most of us, all of us are looking for reliable. All of us are looking for leadership potential and decision making. So just relating what you have done in the past to the position that you're applying for, highlighting those sorts of skills is absolutely going to make you stand out.
Thank you, Alicia. And we are kind of coming to a close here with our Q&A session, but I do want to ask one additional question of all the employers on the call here. And I do believe this was covered in several of your presentations, but we did have a few folks that joined late. The last question that I have for you, and again, we'll work our way from top to bottom here, is what are the opportunities for advancement within your organization? And are there any particular success stories that you would like to highlight for any job seekers who might be interested in applying with your organization? Raina?
Absolutely. We hire from within, if at all possible. Even before I post an ad on Indeed or in local papers, I will post it internally. We do that a lot, not only in the office, but as well as have moved people from the production environment to the office environment. My biggest success story is a plant employee who was hired 25 years ago as a laborer in the wood plant. He was motivated. He was an outside of the box thinker. He had great ideas. So he transitioned pretty quickly into the office in our purchasing department. Advanced from there, he is now the president of our parts and hardware distributor in Altamont. So that's probably our biggest success story, at least recently. We do have a lot of entry-level positions, for instance, in our customer service departments and estimating. And so what we do is those are the departments where people really learn our products. So the training is on those managers to teach them. And then once they learn, they quickly grow out of those areas and move their way up into project management, into sales. We've had numerous people work their way up into management from the very, low-end clerical positions. Again, we've had people, and I know there's other employers here who've been around a long time too, so that's no different, but we've got a lot of people who have been here 20, 30, 40 years because, they started out at the beginning and they worked their way into a position that they were very satisfied with. So I think we have a good track record of doing that.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Raina. And Rachel with Patterson Technology, can you answer that question as well, please?
So the question was, how do we advance?
Yeah, so what are the opportunities for advancement within your organization? And are there any particular success stories you'd like to highlight for job seekers on the call?
Sure. So the first way that you can advance is through certifications, is what we call them. So you would start out in one particular area, learn that specific skill, master it, and then decide that you want to learn something else. And the opportunities are always there to add those skills. So say that you're learning the X-ray portion of the software and you want to add the accounting portion of the software to your skill set to be able to answer those questions. So you would certify on the X-ray portion and then take another training, learn the accounting portion, and then certify on that and receive another increase. So you could move forward that direction, but then you could also take on skills in a different area completely. You know, maybe you want to move towards sales. So openings come and we could set you up with a job shadow in that area. So, I mean, there's just so many different ways that you could go. Salary increases are, I mean, there's so many that come along if you're willing to push yourself in those areas. Probably the biggest success story, gosh, we have so many. People have started, I've been there for 15 years and I started in the same position that we're hiring for now. We've got people who have taken on, I want to say, 15 different skills that they've certified in. And with each skill, you get that certification dollar. So, you know, they're just doing so well for themselves and their families.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Rachel. And Kyra with Sherwin, can you answer that question as well, please?
The opportunities at Sherwin Williams are almost endless. One thing I always refer back to is my very first interview. When I interviewed with Sherwin about 2.5 years ago, I was interviewing with the director of human resources out of Cleveland, and he told me it's kind of like a nonstop train. You decide when you get off. Sherwin Williams is a global company. We have openings all across the world. And you have opportunity, even if you live here in Effingham, Illinois, I have opportunity to those openings as well. So if you ever decide you want to move, relocate, the opportunities are there and endless. You're in complete control of your ride at Sherwin Williams. I would say our biggest success story would be our area director of operations. He started with the company back in 1987, just as a seasonal warehouse employee working his way through college. He had no plan on building a career at Sherwin Williams. Since then, he has worked at about 5 different sites across the U.S. He's now back here in Effingham running the entire site. He has a lot of respect from a lot of employees because at one point he was out there on the floor with them. You can go on the floor and they'll tell you this is how it was whenever he was on the floor with us, and it's just it's good to hear how he wasn't planning on making that career, but it was such a great company to stay with. I think our most recent success story would be an employee who's been here for about 5 years. Since I've been in this role, I hired him for a coordinator position. Since then, he has also moved into a management role. So just in 5 years, he started out on the floor working in the warehouse, moved into a coordinator role, and now he's managing all within 5 years. So it's definitely a company where you can grow and see different opportunities.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Kyra. And Amanda with Siemer Milling.
Yeah, so again, like most others, we prefer to train and promote within. That makes us excited whenever somebody wants to advance their career with the company. We have many success stories. So many of the employees have made really valued careers with the company. One that really sticks out in my mind right now is our VP of production. Again, he started out as a part-time summer help whenever he was just out of high school, and decided it was something he was interested in, and he did some training. He worked his way into the maintenance department. After that, he moved into, I believe, a maintenance supervisor role. After that, he moved in as the Teotopolis plant manager, and now he is the VP of production for all 3 of our locations. So, but again, he's definitely not the only one that has success stories with Siemer Milling Co.
Fantastic. Thank you, Amanda. And Sarah with Stevens Industries, can you answer that question as well?
Yes, this is Emily. I'll handle this one. There is a lot of room for growth here at Stevens. it doesn't take any time to maybe move up into a team lead position or any other department you might be interested in. We love to hire within. There's a lot of room for pay advancements and things like that. We recognize hard work and have no problem showing that. One of the best success stories I can think of right now is our recently promoted Director of Engineering and Maintenance. He started out as a high school intern here with Stevens and has moved up through various positions and now just was promoted to a very rewarding position for him and his family.
Fantastic. Thank you, Emily. And finally, we have Versatech. Alicia, can you answer that question as well?
We also promote from within, post positions within before we advertise for those. The unique thing about Versatech is we have so many different job types here, so many different career opportunities from high volume manufacturing production, so manufacturing engineers, maintenance technicians, over to our design engineers, controls, so electrical, mechanical, building. So just a crazy amount of opportunity here, and our success story probably has to be one of our interns. We had someone who started as a 16-year-old high school student, running some of the more repetitive positions on our CNC lathes. Moved, went to Lakeland, went to SIUE for a mechanical engineering degree, came back on all of his, Christmas breaks and summer breaks, and any chance he got, he was back in the facility doing all the different positions. He was a machinist for a while. He was in the assembly department for a while, did an internship on CAD software, doing the 2D prints for our designers. And now he is a full-time design engineer for us. And he's currently designing a 55-week project, one of the largest projects we've had in quite a few years. So great room for opportunity here.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Alicia. And with that, we're going to go ahead and conclude our Q&A portion of this event. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Courtney with the Effingham Regional Growth Alliance for some final remarks or comments regarding today's session or any additional information that he would like to include. Courtney, are you available?
Yes, sir. And wow, great job from our presenters today. Very well done during your presentations and the Q&A. I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who attended today's event. A special thank you to Daniel and David of Illinois workNet. Thanks to the City of Effingham, Effingham County Chamber of Commerce, Effingham Regional Growth Alliance, Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and the local Workforce Investment Area 23. Also like to thank John Booz, Patterson Technology, Sherwin Williams, Siemer Milling, Stevens Industry, and Versatech. There's a lot of great opportunities out there for job seekers. We hope that you enjoyed today's event and found it informative.
Thank you so much for that, Courtney. And there's not a whole lot that I can add to that statement. I just do want to make note that this session has been recorded. And as I mentioned earlier, it will be uploaded to the Illinois workNet YouTube channel later today. Once it's been uploaded there, it will also be linked to each of the respective employer booths on Illinois workNet as well. The point being is that you can come back and reference anything that was covered here today at a later date. If you're in the process of filling out an application and you need some specific information that you can't recall off the top of your head, please feel free to reference those videos and you can get that information there as well. Again, as Courtney stated, we'd like to thank all of the presenters who joined us here today. I'd also like to thank all of the job seekers who joined us as well. We hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you all so much for your time.